Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for being here and being a part of my soul family. Thanks for being in the tribe. It's always a good reminder. Hold on, guys. I don't want the music to be too loud. Of course, it's going to pause right when I click the record button, right? I was listening to some lectures last night, so I have no idea. Ooh, yeah. Time out. That volume is all the way on max. How are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for being a part of this space. It's not a monetized, it's not a affiliated space. I don't hold any goals of trying to make money off being here, you know what I'm saying? Although I do have a sole purpose of... Why does it still sound so loud? Okay. Child, we're going to get there. You know it. I don't hold a purpose here. I do have a website. I have recently launched a new school community. I create candles. I create ritual tools. You can learn a lot about me at my website, and you can find all the links for the socials and whatnot there. But look, y'all, let me get a sip of my coffee. How you doing? Let me grab an oracle deck. I felt so called to the Mystical Moments Tarot this morning. Hold on. What do we want, Spirit? Excuse me. Okay. We're just kind of vibing together this morning. Yeah, so when you come hang out here, if you've clicked like, if you've clicked subscribe, thank you. That's just energetic free contribution to our soul family. Coming into alignment. It's the age of Aquarius. No one is coming to save us, but we are uniting to be stronger together. So I'm always encouraging you. You know, over here, I'm always saying, find your tribe. Find your soul tribe. Have a spiritual teaching, learning soul tribe community. Also, there's different connectivity and tribes that we find in more in like the brick and mortar 3D. Whatever way, right? I'm getting my Embark Oracle. Y'all look. This is how many stones I gotta take off this one deck. That's all right though. We're gonna pull from today? Like I said, I felt really called to Tarot of Mystical Moments. The Green Witch Oracle deck. That's my new one I've been loving. Sorry, we are going to get a daily crystal inspiration. And I think, yeah, we're going to do a Seasons of the Witch in bulk Oracle. So as a segue, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when I say school, and again, please check out my website, wildwander.net. Go check me out there if you're curious about what I do, what I offer, booking, tarot, and astrology. All the good things are over there. But over here, I just like to hang out with you guys. I like to touch base. We're going to hold hands in the ethers. We're going to sit at the coffee tables together. We're going to help each other gut check ourselves and keep our perspective. Hold a high vibrational frequency. And then even sometimes when we're walking through so many endings, which are naturally butt right up against so many new beginnings, we're just going to be here for each other, you know? Tap in. Come on over here. You are totally, what am I hearing? You're in good hands. You so are. And I just know that everything I've been through that has led me to this exact moment in time, to speak, to teach, to channel, whatever spirit in my team, higher self, my ancestors and guides, right? We are always in service to the highest and best good. Which, by the way, ain't always going to be pretty at first. Love and light, respectfully, disrespectfully, however you want to put it out there. Just be mindful it comes back to you threefold, child. Okay, Spirit, right off the cuff. So, yeah. It's okay. I know. I always hear that lady's phrase off the reel. Come up out of it. Okay? Come here. I need you. This is us. We're holding hands. Look at me. Okay? We gonna be all right. You in good hands. Okay? We're holding hands. We're embodying in so many ways. Hello, it's Neptune in Aries time. I'm literally looking at this backdrop of like calming jazz, whimsical music, right? And this big fire is burning in this fireplace. It's okay for such a time as this that we incarnated, and we are going to do what we came to do, and Spirit's going to put us where we need to be. Our ancestors will always protect and guide us. We are always being guided to the next best thing for the highest and best good. Okay, look, we locked in, me and you, here we are. So I was going to say a quick blurb because pulling from the Seasons of Imbolc, Seasons of the Witch, you know, we love Lorianne Anderson and Juliet Diaz. All of these are amazing. If you want to kind of reconnect and be like, woo, I need help. Help me ground. I would urge you to go back to the Wheel of the Year. And whether you like astrology or tarot, or you're like, I don't even know if I don't know what I like. I don't know. I just know I need something. Okay. Go to the Wheel of the Year and get back in touch with your natural connection to Gaia's cycles. And I guarantee you it would help. These are great. Maybe you're studying tarot. I know I'm getting ready in March to launch all these tarot teachings. Super excited about that. But maybe you just want something a little more simple. All of these decks are wonderful. Whether you have a specific, set of practices or beliefs or you don't. This goes with anything because we all are connected to Earth and Mother Nature. So with that being said, I thought about how in the classroom right now, until we get to March and we get closer to spring equinox times, I have a module up there right now for people to begin working with. It's called the Spirit of Imbolc, and it's like tarot cards and astrology and the Wheel of the Year and goddess archetype. Beautiful things that we can all embody that inspire us to do what we can, where we are, with what we have, which includes embodying vision and walking our own personal paths that are unfolding, right? Don't belittle that. Everyone's not going to be called to do the exact same thing. And sometimes when we have a lot of propaganda or media or triggering news, constant barrage of information, which is vibrational frequency coming into your field, you get a little warbly. You know what I mean? And you think, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I probably would rest assured that you absolutely are. So we're just going to have grounding. Okay, but this did make me think about, if you want to go check out when I say school, I think I put a link. I did update and add the link to my description box for the YouTube channel. I told you before, I don't put like 14 paragraphs under every video. Child, I ain't got time. We doing too much. We haven't got time for all that. But if you look at the description of my channel, like my email is there, my website is there, and everything. If you find the website, that's going to be your one-stop shop. But school is spelled S-K-O-O-L, and we're looking at this deck, which makes me think about that module. It's so good. All the learning there is self-paced. You can do anything on your own time. I will be offering upcoming events. I have a live event actually Friday in a different platform. But yeah, I also have it to, we all have different schedules. We have different things going on. So you can learn and go at your own time. But, excuse me, we need good resources. We need to be self-educated, disciplined, motivated, wise, and discerning right now, but also equally visionary, equally creative, equally inspired. And so that's a great resource for you. Feel free to check it out. And I think I did finally publish an update on my website to where you can find that link as well, because I had a lot of people ask me about it. So with that being said, hello, Aquarius, Stellium. Woo, child. I know. We got to be grounded. But I also hope, I was talking about this yesterday, and I want for us to understand that we are so powerful. We are an embodiment of divine source energy, moving, dancing, suffering, crying, laughing, grieving, creating in real time. We are so powerful that anything that we zero in, beeline focus, worry, anxiety, fear, worry, fear, anxiety, fear, rage. Okay, do you see how we have to be careful? We have to be grounded. You have to know when to tap in and tap out, knowing our own thresholds of the energetics we're receiving through reading, through videos, through platforms, through the people that we chit-chat with at the water cooler, the people that we decide to speak about our precious dreams and visions, sounding boards, echo chambers, etc. We've been talking about these things. So just be mindful. Okay, just be mindful and grounded. But I think we're just going to tap into the cards today, you guys. Aquarius, Stellium, let me reiterate, it's a wonderful time to get mental clarity, to meditate with and write with and study and understand fixed air. And to remember also a lot of things that we are envisioning and feeling inspired by and wanting to create. They're going to stretch out all through this new beginnings of a year, because soon in the summer, well, I want to say soon, shoot, before we know it, right? In the summertime, our North Node will shift from Pisces to Aquarius. So just be mindful of that. We're setting, I would say we're receiving visions and setting fixed intentions that will carry out this year. And then, the unfoldment of brand new timelines. So love that for us. It's an excellent time to be a mentor, be a teacher, seek a mentor, seek a teacher. Even when Uranus goes into Gemini later on, it's just going to be so supportive of absorbing new ways of thinking. Just being taught things in general, but especially spiritual, because North Node in Pisces and then North Node in Aquarius, excellent attunement with those type of frequencies. And then of course, Black Moon, Lilith, and Sagittarius, another amplification of those frequencies. So I always love this deck, and I tell people I keep this deck out all year long, and I use it a lot personally because I have an Aquarius stellium. And a lot of my Aquarius placements are very close to Pisces. So I really just resonate with like the themes, the aesthetic, the messages in this deck. So when we look at the Imbolc Oracle, we're really tapping into a lot of Piscean and Aquarius frequency at the same time. But it's also really archetypal right now with the candle and the flame. Goddess archetypes like Bridget, practices we will be coming into like Candlemas and the birth of the tree, all the things. There's a whole lineup. Again, I got to tell you, there's so much good stuff available for you in my classroom. And I'm not just upping myself. I'm saying I always trust the organics of whoever needs to be there will be there. So, and I just vibe with it. But I mean, it's great information and tools there. You know what, too? I'm just going to say as a side note, I intentionally created a space that was out of social media platforms. I still network with a lot of beautiful, talented, intelligent, spiritual women and co-creators and collaborators in other platforms. But look, it's hard to learn sometimes. And when you open those platforms, if you don't do your energetic and spiritual hygiene and you don't cultivate your feed and set it intentionally, it's almost hard to learn because you get barraged with so much. So I'm really excited to have something out there. School is also really cool because we can chat there. I have a calendar available there where we're going to be doing like coffee hour where you can chat if you're available, and I'll be available. We'll have question and answer sessions, class sessions. It's going to be great. I love it. But you know, you might be like, I need a break. And listen, a lot of people, they're not intentionally projecting, but projections go through vibrational frequencies and electronics too, okay? And where there are masses of people, I'm not saying, hold on, hold your mule, okay? I'm not saying it needs to be ignored, but you have to mediate your own energetic, should we say, spirit is saying a bandwidth, you know? So just shamelessly plugging to say that I love that we can create a space to learn and set intentions and have our own, as I carefully cultivate, constantly bless, and always hold energetic, spiritual, and, you know, emotional. I hold all the space there. So I love the energy there, you know. All right, let's see. Spirit ancestors, our team of guides, ancestors, spirits, both galactic and earthbound, the Davic nature, earth spirits, the sun, the moon, the ocean, the trees, our spiritual guides, our angels and teams, whatever architects we're connecting with, right? We are always asking to connect with activations and frequencies, messages and inspiration that is in service of the highest and best good and is harming none. All right, so there's our intention. Listen, I got to clear my throat. This little tiniest bit of the nastiest bug still lingers, but I don't know if anyone else had, whether it was like a RSV form of this or a flu form of this, whatever the case. But dang, you'll have like a whole group of days and then you'll just have a nagging symptom like an upset stomach or a nagging thing of like a cough or a sore throat. It will just come back out of nowhere. We rebuke it, okay? Return it to the sender, okay? Well, I personally like to say whatever comes my way, if I can alchemize it, return it to the collective as a strength or a power, I'm happy to do that, Spirit. I know you will give me whatever I need to do that. But if I can't, or it is not meant for me, then shoot, we gonna rebuke it. All right, let's get into the message. Encouraging, uplifting messages of support, of alignment. Oh, yes. Oh, what is it? There's a song that is very highly used in like reels and clips. What is it? Even when you, there's something about even when you cannot see, there's something about the darkest day and the dawn. I wish I could remember the words, but it makes me think of this song. How beautiful. Slow it down and move slower still. Okay, not us with our coffee cup. Look, you see? That's what I'm talking about. Slow it down. Look at all the air spirits. Do you see? Slow it down and move slower still. Become the witness swelling in presence. Ooh, swelling in presence. That's good. That's so good, and I like it. We have a number 18, which reduces to 8 plus 1 equals 9. We are wrapping up our work of the 9 year, the year of the wooden snake, the embodiment of a lot of transformation that probably tested us all. Child, I dare say. I don't dare say. I say. Okay. I say it did. I know if I can speak for myself and a lot of people I work with, it did test me to the limits. I'm here and take it to the limits one more time. I don't want to though. I'm be real. I'm good. Take it to the limits one more time. Testing patience, being tested. But I do hope that we make space to swell with the presence of spirit, the presence of beauty, simplicity of the earth. We are wrapping up the finality of Uranus being in Taurus for a long time. Think has Uranus gone direct or is going direct soon? We're going to tap the last of the juice of the marrow of Uranus and Taurus. That's a really good placement. We want to really dig into that as much as possible before it changes. But yeah, I love the earth spirits. It's giving me box breathing. You know how sometimes, especially when you've had PTSD, trauma, all of these things, we have a tendency to not notice that oftentimes our breath is really dysregulated, not regulated, unregulated. We have to, when we come back to our bodies, sometimes, especially after a lot of spiritual awakening, dark nights of the soul, challenging frequencies, right? Because we're talking about wrapping up the 9 year, the year of the wood snake. That's going to prepare us at the end of Aquarius season to rebirth the new lunar year, a whole new emotional subconscious, a whole new gift of vibrational energies that are very deep and intuitive, right? In a moon placement. But yeah, we have to integrate that. In order to do that, we have to swell in the presence. We do have to become still and then slower still. Okay, let's read what the book has to say. I love that image though. It's so beautiful. Oh, I accidentally flipped to number 9. What does that say? Bloodstone? Keywords: make a decision, courage, follow your heart. That is so interesting. Okay, let's go on to number 19. Stillness, focusing on the self and presence. There's a great intelligence in stillness in which you are free to disconnect from the noise and the chaos of everyday life. You're being asked to look past your need to be productive. And that's so challenging sometimes, isn't it? I know people who are mothering, people who are entrepreneurs. What's that term? Momtrepreneurs. Or even if you're not, that's okay. I'm just saying our society and a lot of these ways of being are breaking down so that they can be reborn. But it's this whole cultivation of like, I am not doing enough. I'm not enough if I'm not doing enough. And that is a lie. It is a black magic, a dark inverted energetic trick. It's a spell and we're breaking it. So it's really challenging for me too, right? Shout out, maybe you're a person here who has a Mars fire sign. Maybe you have predominant fire placements. I have a predominant Leo placement, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we have to learn how to channel that energy differently because it can have a way of not allowing us to slow down, especially if you're just naturally wired and driven to be a doer, a go-getter, a productive person. I know it is good for us to all learn the mindfulness and the intentional alignment of being embodied when we move slower. It's something I work on every day because I've been able to see patterns that I have, right? But it's still very challenging for me. But especially even if we could just, and you don't have to be one of those fire signs or a placement like that. Or maybe you're like, I don't know what it is. Maybe that's spirit's nudge for you to learn. But it is good for us all, especially at this moment in time. What's that song, y'all? I'm hearing, one moment in time. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Is that Whitney? Who sang? Yeah, one moment in time. R.I.P. Whitney, such a beautiful soul spirit now in the collective. But anyway, one moment in time that we need to slow down and be aligned, to pay attention, to be wise and discerning, to be very, very intentional what we speak, cultivating what we think. We are divine projective channels of energy and frequency. So it's like if you had to pick any time to be so intentional, to choose the frequency that you're paradigm shifting into, because you will inevitably become not only what you surround yourself with, inevitably, you'll become what you constantly see, what is constantly projected onto you if you do not choose something different for yourself. And reframing a perspective is not the same as being ignorant or intentionally bypassing or ignoring. Don't let somebody sell you on that bullshit. That's not true, okay? But anyway, let me, for spirit said, focus, okay? Not us, say focus on the self, exactly. Because what will happen is you'll have this beautiful embodiment of this amazing, powerful ingress of Aries, and all of these 0 points on the chart and the energy, all of these huge dawning of a new era, a whole big reset. And maybe you were supposed to be in that one place at one time, but you got, hypothetically speaking, you got so caught up. And it's okay, it's understandable. It's a raw, emotional, righteously, sacredly enraging type of time. I get it. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but it doesn't mean that everything going on away from you, not where you are, is meant for you to be doing. That's tough. Because of information overload, we doubt, we get filled with doubt. You know what I'm saying? And that can really knock you slap out of your alignment. It makes me think of, because to me, everything is connected. And I was reading this book and it's funny to think about this. And I realized I burned some incense this morning, but ooh, child, we cannot cleanse and realign and reset too much in these days and times. I'm going to spray some of my frankincense. Whoop, over my crown too. We might as well. I'm telling you, it smells so good. Okay. But, it makes me think about this story, and the master warrior was teaching his apprentices. And he specifically gave them instructions. Maybe this is your ancestors. Maybe you work with a warrior spirit, Archangel Michael, Kali Ma, divine feminine energy. Bridget, and some of these characters, they were definitely warriors, but sometimes they're painted differently. Who else does this make me think of? Definitely Athena. Artemis, which was connected to a dream I had last night. Crazy. Artemis, Athena, so many. We could list so many, right? Eris, we could go down the line. But the master warrior, let me summarize. He was teaching, and he told them specific instructions. You wait at the east gate. You wait at the west. I am going ahead because I have been prepared in a way. I have been trained in a way. I have been called in a way that, in fact, you have not. That doesn't mean your place or your point in the strategy or the execution of the plan is less than. But in fact, it's all equally important. You see the Aquarius frequency there, all the equal importance. So the lesson of this scene in this book that I was reading last night was that, one, he got pulled up out of his space because he was so afraid for his master. And he was hearing a scream, and he's like, I hear this. And the other guy's like, no, we had specific instructions to guard these doors. This is where the divine spirit has placed you and you at this time, and you are supposed to be there for a reason. But sometimes you don't know that reason yet. You don't understand. And we do have to have a measure of, it's funny we're saying this because the star card, Aquarius frequency, is knowing that you're on the right path, knowing that you are in the exact space that you need to be, to take heart, to have faith, to be courageous, and hold where you've been placed right now. So basically, dude goes running off into the abysmal dungeon or wherever it was, the catacombs, whatever. Now, not only does he leave his place unguarded for what his purpose was supposed to be at the East Gate. It's funny, it's the East Gate. It makes me think of air and Archangel Raphael. I'm seeing a caduceus. I'm seeing a wand. I'm seeing an emerald. Maybe those are synchronistic confirmations for you. So he runs off. Not only does he leave his place totally unguarded, he throws the rest of the mapped matrix of the divine organic plan all out of whack, because when he left his spot, other dude was off guard in his spot, so now his place he's supposed to be is thrown off. And then he thinks he's helping the master, who's way far in advanced training and experience and knowledge than him. So he abandoned his trust, his faith, and there is some ego there too, but there's also fear and worry that he let overcome him. So not only did all that occur, the whole timeline at where he was and his friend, he put his friend at risk. He did all these things because he moved out of the place that he was divinely put for a reason, because he thought, oh no, I should have been over there. I hear the screams. I hear the cries. Where's my master? Are they okay? The master had a plan the whole time, right? Okay, stay with me, because I feel like Spirit is channeling. Our ancestors are trying to show us something. He was not really adept and equipped or trained or had the same weapons, you get what I'm saying, to be where the master was. So he threw the master off his alignment. He almost put him at risk of, let's say, being greatly harmed, because I don't want to say the other word and then get dinged. He put his master at great, almost egregious harm, right? Because he left his post. And then his friend was hurt very badly. All of it could have been avoided if he trusted the plan and where he was divinely placed, right? You see what I'm saying? And then he cost the whole plan. He squabbled, he skiffied up the whole grid of the energy that was set to be a certain way for a certain reason, you see? Okay. So that just definitely made me think of that story last night. There is a great intelligence in stillness, in which you are free to disconnect from the noise and the chaos of everyday life. You're being asked to look past your need to be productive, choosing instead to stand still. Be at ease and take solace in doing absolutely nothing. That is so hard. That shouldn't be so hard. Do you see the negative mental programming patterns we have to work on? This is your time to rest and reflect. Listen to your spirit, asking asking it what it needs this moment to be honored and fulfilled. Do you truly need to take action right now? Or is this your ego, there it is, giving you false sense of urgency? And is it rooted in fear? Is it rooted in anxiety? Is it rooted in, I'm not going to be enough if I don't go do what they're doing? That's a tough pill to swallow and sit with. Because everyone's place in the age of Aquarius is you need to be here. Yes, you do. Don't discount that. I need you to be working here. I need you to be doing this. We can't all be up here doing this, because now I'm seeing, like, what am I seeing? Like a soccer, or if you call it football, love and light, wherever you're from, a soccer team. Like, we can't all run up and be forwards. First of all, we ain't trained to do that. We might run out of breath. We're leaving the whole back undefended. You know what I'm saying? There's a beautiful dance to the team and all the spots we have to play, and they're for a divine reason. So there's something here about ego. There's something here about self-value and understanding your alignment and purpose, right? There's a lot of loudness in the collective that says, I need you to trust your discernment, is what I'm trying to say. Apathy is absolutely one thing. Spiritual bypassing, those are real concepts, but we also have to know that we are where we are for a reason. Stillness and alignment occur for a reason. This thing makes me think of a runner at the line. He's waiting for the sound. But if he pre-runs, what happens is they got to reset the whole lineup, and everybody's got to get set up again to make sure they're on their block and they're on their path. They got to do their whole little mental thing again. We pop the whole line off. And everybody's like, dang, we have to think about that. Do you truly need to take action right now? Or is that your ego giving you a false sense of urgency? Are you keeping yourself busy? Listen, to avoid looking too closely at feelings that are attempting to bubble over. What would happen if you allowed yourself to feel the truth of your emotions rather than trying to put them away? Receiving this card suggests you are ready to face things and heal them so you can find the truth of what's hiding underneath. Receiving this card may also mean time in solitude is a powerful healing method for you to embrace. Okay, this makes me think of this character too in this story. And he was reflecting with his master. His master was so angry at him. And long story short, they got involved in some other things, and it turned out great. And he had a moment to kind of redeem himself because he saved a person, yada, yada, right? Okay. But still, at the end of the day, his master, his teacher, you think of Saturnian energy as like, I told you, I trained you this way for a certain reason. His master was so upset with him. And they had this connective moment in the storyline. It's a great author. The character he was sharing, he's like, why did you do that? And he went into this childhood story about how his father abused him. And, I think it basically bubbled down to, he couldn't save his mother, long story short, right? So he had a wound inside of him that triggered his fear and his shame and his guilt. And because he had never worked on that energy, it pushed him out of his place of alignment. And then it almost cost everyone their lives. You see what I'm saying metaphorically? That's what triggered him in that moment to not be in present mindfulness, to not maybe say mantras and affirmation. Even when he heard certain cries, screams, pain, he felt fear. Boom. You notice he made a choice in that storyline. I think it's resonant here. He made a choice in that storyline. Where do we want to go next? Okay. He made a choice in that storyline. He moved out of fear. Okay. And it whacked up. It threw out the entire alignment, not just of him, but of his whole cluster of team there that they were working like a family together. He put everyone in harm's way because he moved out of fear and not out of divine timing and trust, stillness, mindfulness, and wisdom, right? Okay. I'm going to shuffle the Tarot of Mystical Moments. This was a gift for me years ago, and I always show it to people because I don't think I would have ever really bought it for myself, but it's become one of my favorite tarot decks. Who is it? Is it Katrin Wellstein? It's a beautiful deck. It's very unique, so very floral, very earthly, but also very like whimsical and different. I love it. Okay, Spirit, what can we add to this message of the dawn? Swelling and present. Swelling in presence, becoming a witness, moving slower, being intentional, using our discernment. Let's see what we have. Let's see. How can we get further into this, Spirit? Okay, we have Ace of Pentacles. Look at that. You know what I saw immediately? I had this thought, and I saw like a different alternative ending to the card. Like, what if she wasn't paying attention to being grounded in the present? And she had this opportunity to have a beautiful seed moment, seed consciousness, a seed of inspiration, creative muse, a seed of where she needs to go, what she needs to plant. But what if she wasn't doing any of that? She's distracted. She's worried. She's afraid. Something's calling her attention. What would happen? I feel like she would just slide right down off that cliff. I don't know. Where does it go below? Maybe there's a river. She gets swept away. Maybe she gets stuck in a hole and then, oh no, she's calling for help, right? I don't know. I just saw this fast forward image of an alternate version of her like, oops. And then she's like sliding down, like maybe it's a mudslide. I don't know. I heard somebody say, well, it's felt like a mudslide lately. I know it has, but we do not have to reaffirm that in our own reality, because then the universe will continuously mirror that back to you. Now, I'm not saying, okay, I understand. I'm not saying that we can always be in control of what we see, what we hear, what's going on. No, we know we can't. That would be a sad disillusionment to live under. And that's not the timelines we're going into. But it does mean that we cultivate, because we try to practice alchemy to the best of our ability. We cultivate and do with what we will the energy that comes into our field. We are intentional as much as possible, and we transmute. And what we know we need to heal and work on, if we can't transmute, we try to practice our energetic boundaries on, because she is called to pay attention to this seed, right? How very in bulk, okay? The seeds coming up from the belly as the light slowly begins returning. Now, she's not running around. She's not frantically looking for seeds because she worries, what if I didn't get my seeds? She's not doing any of that. She's very present, grounded. You see the stillness here. I'm always curious to read what she says about her cards, though, because they are very unique, and I find her perspective fascinating. The Ace of Pentacles, she says, the Ace of Pentacles shows a woman sitting in a lush garden in bloom. She looks at a fern. Oh, it's the little fern wheels. You ever see those in the forest? I love those. Fern wheels, that could be synchronicity or a confirmation. They always make me think of sacred geometry and pi and all these different things, right? And the golden ratios and the ammonite shells. Look at that. That's what those little fern wheels make me think of. Okay, hold on. I'm getting something. So Spirit is showing me. Shout out to all my OGs who have always played Mario Kart going back in the day. Tell me, like, were you even an elder millennial or even older millennial or whatever? You know how you're on the Rainbow Road track? Because I'm seeing the spiritual labyrinth now, the wheel of the fern, the ammonite, the sacred geometry, where what happens if you don't know when to slow down on certain parts of the track, on that rainbow track, you know what I'm talking about? You're going to slide right off the side and you'll be like, no. Who else out there? Raise your hand. You redid them tracks so many times because you were like, it's not going to beat me. Okay. But do you see the commonality there? You don't want to slide your wheels right off the tracks, because that is what the dying timelines want to do. What happens? You fall off. Remember we saw her in an alternate ending sliding down the hill? That's what they want to occur, because then it feeds that frequency that's dying out. You see what I'm saying? Okay, it says, she looks at a fern that has just emerged from the earth. As the plant grows, the leaves unfurl in a spiral pattern representing its potential. The woman is being asked to take care of the plant. This is giving me like being very streamlined and focused in your present moment. What is it that you've been called to take care of, right? Where are your seeds? Okay, but if you're running around, and I mean, granted, I will never say do what's right in your moment in time, one moment in time, okay, where you're at with what you have. Yeah, by all means, because why are you practicing any of this if you're not going to do that? But does that mean that you constantly get so spiraled up in your mind, sliding off the sides of the tracks, and you got a garden full of seeds over here, but you're running over here and you're going over there and you're going 3, 4 towns, states away, countries away with buckets of water, and then it's like your garden that you're supposed to be tending is dying. And little did you know that in 5 years, let's say Spirit is showing me like this, these monks are going to do a peace walk and you're going to be called to feed them, and it's going to be this organic moment of grid work that amplifies a frequency of peace, but your whole garden died because you ran, I'm hearing hither and thither, okay, now love and light, okay, I'm seeing cars sliding on the ice, okay, wow, I'm getting a lot of different downloads, but I think the message is the same. You need to be still and mindful where you are. You will know if it's a divine calling, if it's a synchronistic moment that has been prepared in alignment and truth and bravery and courage that's meant just for you. You know. But out of fear and anxiety and worry and concern and chaos and calamity, that's not always Spirit taking you somewhere. Just know that, okay? Spirit is reminding me that the other day we talked about the first Mercury retrograde. I don't know, that seems very important. Potentially going to help us unpack a lot of this Aquarius frequency that we're taking in right now. We ain't running around with nut chickens with our head cut off out here. I'm hearing it like this. Okay. The woman is being asked to take care of the plant, okay, and help it develop into something valuable and sustainable. It will take time and effort and focus and saying no to other things and balancing where your energy goes every day, right? But it has a great purpose. It will take time and effort, she says, as symbolized by the challenging path the plant has had to follow to rise up to the surface. You see that? But it will be worth it to cultivate this resource. And then, in fact, who knows what that resource is then going to go and do, which will be amplified to 10 people, to 50 people, to 1,000 people. Who knows? But we ain't going to know if your whole garden dies because you ain't there. You get what I'm saying? Opportunity, manifestation, investment, growth, achievement, rewards, and gifts. Yes. In the negative, let's read in the negative cautioned energy, right? Wasted opportunities, unhealthy choices, a lack of focus, and impractical approaches. So very, very on point with the message there. All right, let's shuffle from the beautiful daily crystal inspiration. Okay. Y'all, I be having to keep my boxes organized because I got so many going on, okay? Okay, Spirit, let's see. What can we add to this message with the crystals? Crystals are great to be working with now. Great grounding tools. Great for alignment. Crystals can be great to help you clear your energetic field and anchor in the intentions that you're working with to be fixed in this season. Okay, let's see what we have. Oh, wow, look. Ooh, child. It says Jade. Be the bigger person. And then, of course, Jade. We have Ace of Pentacles and Jade. That's wealth, manifestation, prosperity, blessings from your ancestors. Being very blessed and highly guided to manifest things in unexpected ways down into this earthly grid. Ace of Pentacles with Jade is... didn't we pull earth grounding the other day, too? This is giving a lot of Uranus and Gemini. You know what? Because I need to know. I want to know, can you tell me? Why am I thinking of Phil Collins in Genesis? I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Look, I was going to say, I found out he was an Aquarius. It makes so much sense, okay? feel just jamming in like 9 to 5 office clothes, not giving a fuck, just singing bangers, okay? Boom, 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 boom. I can feel it. Ooh, it still hits. Look, you got a song you made that long ago. Still hitting like that, I'm trying to tell you. But I can feel it coming in the air. This is what that made me think of in that card. But how you gonna feel it if you're running around everywhere, hither and thither, sliding off the rainbow track? The rainbow track makes me think of the stellar gateways. I can feel it coming in the air. Okay, downloads that will activate whole new timelines. But this is what's like Spirit is trying, and our ancestors and galactic guides and all of those that are working with us to support us in these very challenging times. Okay, there will be people that have incarnated in their soul contracts and their past lives and all of their soul's experience. In this incarnation, they're going to be very different types of work they're doing as opposed to what you're doing. But in Age of Aquarius, in the Pluto and Aquarius liquidation of all the energetic frequencies, you got to be where you are too. This is like a master farmer was supposed to be called to stay at his farm because he was going to teach all these generations of up and coming young people, because we didn't know that there was going to be a time where a bunch of areas of a place would come together and they were going to, ooh, this sounds a little prophetic, love and light. They were going to they were going to, what are we saying, Spirit? Because it's going real fast. Okay, slow it down. The farmer needed to teach them to sow the seeds so that they would be multiplied, because people were going to need to be fed. And everybody's job wasn't going to be a farmer, but everyone that was doing other roles would need to be fed. But if the farmer was so aggravated because he wasn't called to be a warrior, or he wasn't called to be an inspirational speaker, or he wasn't called to be, you know what I'm saying? An oracle giver. I don't know. We could do a lot. Well, I wish I was a painter. I don't know, but that wasn't his role. And then what happens is 5 years down the road, all these people go hungry and people are not surviving, let's say, because he was supposed to be feeding them. Do you see that? Ace of Pentacles and Jade. The seeds you're sowing right now are so important. They're so important, okay? Jade says, be the bigger person. I don't know, I just flipped right by it. Okay. Take the high road. Why am I hearing that again? Life in the fast lane. Okay, now I'm seeing the car sliding off the rainbow road again. Spirit is bringing something down, but you cannot be moving fast right now, and you need to be, I'm hearing, stay in your lane. Take the high road. You have the power to choose how to interact with the people in your life. You can either lift each other up or drag each other down. This is an energetic message. It's also a message about prosperity and abundance, and it's also a message about alignment. Do you see that? You can be small and give your power away, or you can be the bigger person and stand strong in your convictions. To elevate your spiritual maturity, be mindful, respond instead of react. Don't take things personally. Listen without getting defensive. Instead of letting conversations and encounters get to you, brush them off and maintain your composure. This is your power. She's maintaining her composure by focusing on the seed she's been given. What a unique and strong, powerful seed, too, to grow up, like the book said, through those conditions. It's a blessing. It's a gift for her to be able to nurture and care for it. This is your power. Sometimes you say more by keeping silent. There's the silence. There's the silence again. By keeping silent and getting farther by remaining still. Or you can't make that up. I know you see that alignment. Core questions. Do you often take things personally or get defensive? Shadow Aries energy, okay? Shadow Aries energy. And we coming in hot and heavy after the spring equinox. Shadow Aries energy is, there is a time to do certain things. But there's also a time to be still, to be compassionately detached, to be wise and discerning. Because in the ramification of the energetic pace and the way that the frequency and the chaos of the spinning wheel, it's not no time to just be out here flipping every 25, 40 tables you go past, because you're just so done with it all. And you're lost at that point. You're no better than the people that are falling off the other side of the rainbow road, because there ain't gonna be no road left if everyone is acting like that all the time. You see what I'm saying? That's a very Saturnian type of Aquarius message. We're going to have to be anchored into a place. I'm hearing Don Miguel Ruiz, very beloved by my own apprentice teacher. She studied with him a lot, took many trips to go and visit and study with him. But the Teotihuacan walls, they taught deep core principles. They taught a lot of shaman, like shamanistic magic and all these different things, right? Very beautiful, powerful group. But have you ever read the Four Agreements? And one of the biggest of those is being to take nothing personally. I know I'm gonna need you to anchor that one down. I actually may go back and reread that book. Actually, I think I'm going to write that down and suggest it in one of my schools. But anyway, do you often take things personally or get defensive? Are you in control of your responses to others? How can you be more mature in your relationships? Let me tell you something, it's such a knee-jerk reaction, and partially it's understandable, but we don't have time for people to be like, it's not fair that I always have to be the one. Okay, but you incarnated into this soul experience and you've been through a lot, and there's a reason that you are holding a tier frequency in the grid of the anchor that you're placed at. And that does call people to practice emotional maturity, responsibility for their energy, going in and reading the room and being the first to, you know what I'm saying? That's not the same as being a doormat. We have to be doing that work right now. As I'm sure you can see why en masse, okay? There is a time for uprising and revolution and I'll be the first to tell my Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? My co-ruler is Uranus. I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a time when we rebel, okay? But there's a way to go about things that is emotionally mature and long-term sustainable. And then there's a way to really fucking not do it like that. We've got to be able to not get defensive and take things personally. Okay. Affirmation. I show up as my most mature self. Oh, I know it's so hard. It is hard. I know. Please know I'm not preaching to the choir. I have a Leo rising. I have a Mars fire placement and a Venus fire placement. Okay. Look, I know I have had to come a long way to not be on the team of y'all can all get it today. Okay. I've had to grow a long way, because the wisdom of growing in that type of maturity is understanding. If you constantly going around reacting, that's a bait and switch. That's an energetic vamp. You've given a piece of sacred, beautiful light, beautiful energy, source power over to the wrong crowd. And then you've been baited and switched to be brought down off the tier that you were supposed to be bringing the room up to. You feel me? It's a bait and switch. Boop, you got duped. That's how we would say it. Now, when it's the time to have divine alignment and right response, not reaction, your ancestors will support you. You will know that you're in right alignment. And ooh, I don't care if you don't waited 10 years to execute that one moment. It'll be so impactful than if you did 25 moments in 10 years where you just weren't in control of yourself at all. There's a big difference in that, okay? Affirm to yourself today, I show up as my most mature self. Today, take the high road in all situations. That keeps coming through, doesn't it? The road less traveled. All right, Spirit, so let's review. Let's read it. Robert Frost. I memorized this, which is so funny now that I think about my life. Ooh, child, I memorized this in my honors English class and recited it. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, right? Ooh, child. I was so nervous saying this thing too, but if I had only known The road not taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference, right? Ooh, Spirit. We love a good word. We love a good reading. Sure do. Okay, let's close. Let's pull the Green Witch. The Green Witch's Oracle deck. What am I hearing? Is that from the newer Wicked movie? I'm hearing that, what is it? Because I knew you. Is that the words? Because I knew you, I have been changed for good. I don't know. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. This makes me think of the yellow brick road. And how their paths just happen to cross. Interesting. Maybe that could be a message for someone or a confirmation. Okay, that one's wanting to kind of stick to my fingers. We're going to take that one, Spirit. I have been changed for good. Look at this. Roots. Healthy patterns, early growth. Okay, look. The inbox symbolism just keeps coming through. Look at that. Do you see it's an egg? This makes me think of the Orphic egg. The Orphic egg has connections to the Empress. It has connections to the Hermit. The Orphic egg has connections to the Lover's card. Deep esoteric wisdom. If that zings something in you, write the Orphic egg down in your journal and go read, because we are cracking open into whole new worlds. You see the skulls down there? This makes me think of how Black Moon Lilith was in Scorpio. You could be a Scorpio. I don't know. I'm getting a lot of earth energy too. You could be an earth sign, but you don't have to be. Wow. There is so much going on. The worms moving through the soil, working through the dead things, aerating the soil to create room for transmutation so new growth can occur, protection of ancestors, the strength of the roots, the connectivity in the soil makes me think the community, Aquarius. We've got the mycelium. We've got the mushrooms again for the death. This could be maybe a birch. I don't know. Wow. Birch makes me think of Burkano, the rune. Beautiful card. See, I love the art on this deck. I know. I'll be talking to y'all like I can hear y'all. This is an amazing oracle deck. I'd recommend it for sure. Okay, roots, healthy patterns, early growth. Roots create a foundation, giving a plant stability and strength. Twining deep throughout the soil, they are both anchors and explorers, seeking water and nutrients to feed the plant. Roots expand and divide, creating beautiful natural patterns. The Roots card reminds you to make sure your project, your idea, your new path, your inspiration, right? Make sure it has good roots. Well, make sure you have good roots too, because if you're not well rooted, anything that comes from your vibrational frequency is not going to be very well rooted. And then that will in turn attract the like, you see? Child, if we hadn't heard slow down enough in these cards, listen, don't race through this early stage of creation. You can't make that up. If you ensure a healthy foundation in the early stages, your project will have a better chance of success. This could be for some, right? You're on the boon of I'm hearing boon. Yep, Jade, Ace of Pentacles. You're creating something. You're teaching something. You're branching off into a brand new career territory. You're planning this trip, or whatever the case may be, or you're leaving a relationship or starting a new one. I don't know. We all have very unique and multifaceted, beautiful paths and contracts and intentions, right? So whatever that is for you, this could be kind of a message on a bigger scale of like, you're doing something really big this year, but it's seed planting. Don't get impatient. A slow start, I'm hearing a slow start is a good start. Because if you start too fast, if you get too much too fast, you're not going to know what to do with it, and it can be squandered. That's not long-term sustainability. We need strong foundations, right? Okay, so be patient with yourself. Maybe you're doing something big, like me launching a whole new classroom setting. I'm sorry, guys, hold on. Me launching this setting, this has been in the works for multiple years, planning, thinking about structure, exploring, examining, budgeting, investing, so many things, right? And then now the year of the quote unquote launch, which I didn't even intentionally do on the very day that Neptune went into Aries. Hello, thank you, Spirit. I already know that it doesn't have to blow up fast. In fact, I don't really want it to, because I want to have good bones. I want to understand what it is I'm trying to do with this new format. And sometimes, you have great seeds and you'd be like, wow, I tried that one format. I tried that one website. I tried that one class. I tried that one date, whatever. And it just, it didn't work. That's okay. We're going to keep going. That's just a learning experience, because we're growing seeds. You're going to grow a seed one time. This makes me think of how I had jasmine for the first time. Y'all, child, that jasmine plant, love and light. She tested me, y'all. But I didn't give up on her. I didn't let her die. We just had to get to know each other. I had to figure out what worked for that plant and what didn't. And it ended up giving me, in a year that I was in the RV and I was going through a lot. But she gave me beautiful gifts. Whether I made something or candles or oils or I smelt her flowers or whatever it was, she gave me so much. But we had to be patient and get to know each other, me and that jasmine plant, I'm telling you. I think it was called star jasmine. It was so pretty. Okay. If you ensure a healthy foundation in the early stages, your project will have a better chance of success. Now I'm seeing Aries fire rolling through a forest, and how if you're not educated, I'm just channeling here with Spirit, if you're not educated in the ways of environmental science and nature and cycles, an outlying bystander, Spirit is saying, might think that the forest is burning down. Oh no, we've got to put the fire in. Sometimes it depends on the situation. But some of us understand the alchemy of a fire burning through a forest. Do you know that there are some seeds, including pine cones? Spirit is saying that. I'm in a channel space, so if I'm talking a little bit faster, that's why. But Spirit is showing me that there are some seeds that cannot even crack. The pine cone has to open, and it does so under the pressure of heat most times. There's ash that nourishes plants. There's a whole thing that Gaia and the wisdom of the aeons and aeons of Earth are doing. And then we're just trying to put buckets on sometimes because we don't understand the entire web of life that's interacting when those fires are burning. It's scary. Because we don't understand. You see what I'm saying? Somehow that's in relation to the metaphorical timelines of how a lot of things are burning down, and we're going, oh my gosh. But it's so many things are cracking open for rebirth. Did you see the egg in the tree? Okay. Okay, remember, it's me and you. We're here and we're holding hands so we can remain the last standing Jedis, if you will. Okay? Okay. Like a strong root system that will support and nourish a plant, it's important to establish routines and healthy patterns you can rely on when life gets chaotic. A reliable foundation will bring you confidence and reduce pressure in times of stress, just like being the bigger person, just like tending to the seed, just like being still where you are and understanding what you're growing and why. We're going to need these foundations, okay? We're going to need them. Because when things tip over into a new era, people, souls, businesses, communities, they will be looking for these things, Spirit is saying. And then the gardens will be there for them. I don't know, this is very metaphorical, right? Okay, reflection point says, do you need to go back to the foundation of something to examine it and perhaps reinforce it? Okay. Beautiful messages. Lovely time spent this morning. Go about your day and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to connecting with you guys soon, okay? I love you. Take good care. Bye.